Rafter likes that serve. He used it so well against Sampras yesterday.
You better believe Mark Philippoussis was watching that, trying to pick up a couple pointers. The other thing he knows is that Rafter loves to serve into the body. Has to be prepared for that as well. And he looked
there it was.
prepared.
Well, if you serve into the Philippoussis body, you got a nice big target.
30, 40.
And that's going to be one of the things about serving to Philippoussis. Not only is he a real tall guy, but he's very, very fit. In the last several months, he's really worked on that, and it shows in his game.
And an early break chance for Philippoussis.
Rafter's only been broken 6 times in 6 matches. Philippoussis broken 11.
Advantage Rafter.
Once again, you've seen this before. Rafter's 2-love head-to-head. That was about a month ago at the Canadian Open. Rafter moves in quickly to make sure that angle he sees will allow that ball to drop wide like it did there. Point for holding here this first game.
And game.
Rafter holds. We're underway. The men's championship. First service game for 21-year-old Mark Philippoussis.
15 love.
Fittingly, it starts with an ace.
His 103rd of the tournament.
Had 30 in the match with Johansson Thursday night.
Only 96 miles per hour, so he's learning as we speak.
His average second serve has been 105 miles an hour.
Massive angle there. We've got 2 extremely strong individuals, and this is evidence right here. That ball's behind Rafter, and he's had strong enough wrist to flick it cross court for a winner.
This is going to be something that Rafter's going to be able to do against Philippoussis. That's what he wants to do, which is why Philippoussis might have to up the miles an hour on his serve. Rafter's finding some nice short corners in the, forcing Philippoussis to hit up on that first volley, which is a defensive volley. I bet he'll go for a little bit more heat.
And if this goes on much longer, you'll see him start to stay back in the second serve and try to take bigger swings at some ground strokes. Mix things up a little bit here.
Let. Second serve.
Sampras looked quite uncomfortable having to serve and volley first and second serve. And Philippoussis is also not yet a natural serve volley player.
Passed him again. 2 great chances for Rafter.
15,
He did a
40,
pretty
40.
good job at that forehand volley. Didn't get himself back in position quite quickly enough, and Rafter pulled it once again cross court for the winner. He saved the break point the first game, now has 2 of the second game. Philippoussis does pick up the pace
30,
and gets
40.
rewarded there with a Rafter miss.
Well, that's always his inclination. That's his plan A. Obviously,
And B. Unfortunately, he's got a few others now. Quickly to net to cut off that angle. This is a second break point already this game. He doesn't want to make any mistakes here early.
Deuce. Out wide, 101 miles an hour.
Advantage Philippoussis.
Rafter with a far superior hardcourt record coming in, 38-7 for the year. Philippoussis 18-8. Patrick, defending champion, certainly the favorite here coming in.
Yep.
There was that movement.
Exactly what it was, Bill. Movement and hustle. Extra effort here. Philippoussis hits the line in the old wraparound play. Players love that shot.
So few people get to hit this. You don't have to clear the net when you're on the run like that. You just have to find the court.
Let. First serve. Advantage Rafter.
There's the danger of going for that big second serve. Tosses in his first double. That was third break point chance for Rafter.
He's taking his chances, giving Rafter this many sniffs at a break, because Rafter for the tournament has converted more break points than anybody, 2 of 3 on average.
That's an incredible average. Maybe that's why.
Induce. Advantage Rafter. Game, Rafter.
Well, Rafter keeping the pressure on. Gets the break in the second.
Rafter leads 2 games to love.
And up above and representing Fujifilm America, proud sponsor of the 1998 Open, the Fujifilm blimp with captains Mark Pinsky and Mike Fitzpatrick doing a superb job of keeping the giant craft on course above Corona Park and the world-famous USTA National Tennis Center.
Pat Cash, you must be pulling your hair, though. You try to tell this guy to play better percentage tennis. He does have some success. There's Pat Cash and Gavin Hopper, who helps get Mark in shape. But then he goes for these big, huge second serves, and it's worked. I mean, he had big second serves, match point down against Johansson. It saved him in big situations, but you hate to have to depend on that.
Actually, it's pretty terrible trying to depend on rotten second serves, too.
A little happy medium. We'll go for that. Just don't toss in a double.
30-15.
There's Tony Roach, Patrick Rafter's coach.
Mark Muddy Waters next to him, who's done a great job keeping Rafter in tip-top shape. Also works with the Woodies. Patrick Rafter, by the way, growing up idolized Pat Cash.
40-15.
Just saw is working with Philippoussis, so. And also Pat Cash is good buddies with Rafter. Of course, Mr. Philippoussis is paying his paycheck, so.
In game, Rafter.
Rafter holds 3-love. First set. Philippoussis serving at love 3 in the first set.
In love 15.
He's really in deep trouble. I mean, what Mark Philippoussis had to do first and foremost was take care of his serve. And if he had done that, all the pressure would have shifted over to Rafter. Just the opposite has happened.
Aussie great Ken Rosewall.
He's thinking, boy, these guys have sure gotten a lot bigger since I played. The average height of a tennis player has got to be 6-8 inches more than it was back when Muscles was playing. Here's a broken string.
30-15.
Strings his rackets at 66 pounds, 17 gauge gut, and he has lead tape around the inside.
These and I must say, Patrick Rafter, he's got plenty of rackets to work with. This court is tailor-made for him. The balls are light, court is quick. He's a natural serve volleyer, and that is why he's proving so tough to beat in Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Can't be playing much better. What a terrific start out of the gate for Pat Rafter.
To be perfectly honest, I think he's playing better than he did last year. It's the best I've ever seen him play when he played Bjorkman. Showed incredible guts against Sampras in a difficult situation, playing someone who's not 100%, but who's still hitting 125-mile-per-hour serves. And lo and behold, Rafter again with the break point. Philippoussis starting to get edgier by the moment here. As Mary pointed out, resorting back to his power game.
You know, if you've got an engine that big, you want to gun it, but he's just not coming up with the, he's making too many errors. Rafter continuing to spit back returns.
That was a Rafter-like point right there, though. Very well done. First it was a serve, the kicker out to the backhand. Rafter hit an excellent return, but look how low he gets here, the big guy. And did something with it. Fantastic half volley there. That's first set was history if he had missed that. It's not looking all that good anyway at the moment. There it is again. He's giving Patrick Rafter a little too much time, not enough on his volleys or half volleys. And Rafter's picking them apart at the moment.
If he doesn't bruise these volleys better, Rafter has time to do anything. He could pass him down the line cross court or once again hoist it over his head.
He's standing too close to the net there too, and Rafter picked up on it quickly.
Another break chance for 4-love.
Deuce.
That was 117, third ace.
Perfectly placed. That's the reason it beat him. A little power doesn't hurt, but he needs to place the serve well. You don't want to hit a hard first serve out wide to the forehand. It's a lot tougher to get the angle. Rafter sees serves at this pace fairly regularly on the men's tour. He's not impressed at the moment. Philippoussis is nowhere near the service line.
Philippoussis saves the third break point.
Deuce.
Philippoussis has won only 1 of 6 points on his second serve. That's a problem, 17%.
Australian fans. Hard to know exactly who they're rooting for.
no-lose situation for them. They've been waiting a long time for this. Changing in the guard in the men's game.
That kind of face painting got very popular down at the Australian Open about 10 years ago, using sunscreen in that hot Australian summer heat. Swedish fans started painting flags. Now everyone does. That stays in. Whoa. See, I think this is going to be the key problem for Mark Philippoussis. Pat Rafter has such a much more disciplined return game than Philippoussis.
And to be perfectly honest, Mir, I think Rafter would prefer if he served volleyed on both the first and second serve. I think he needs to keep him guessing. Mix that second serve up at least a little. He hits such a big second serve, I don't think it'll be that easy for Rafter to chip charge right off the return.
Advantage Philippoussis.
Philippoussis has had to work awful hard here, and he still hasn't held yet.
Go down to Pam Schreiber. Pam?
Well, thanks, Bill. I'm with the woman of the day yesterday, and actually women's tennis right now. Lindsay Davenport, the '98 U.S. Open champion, has a nice ring to it. 24 hours of perspective. How does it feel at this point?
It still feels incredible. You know, it was always my dream as a little girl to win this one more than any other one. And, you know, yesterday winning with the whole crowd. And it's great to be back here today. I'm glad I didn't have to wait a year to come back.
Yesterday you played your first final. Today Philippoussis is playing his first final. If you could give him any advice, what would it be?
I think it's just really important to start off in the beginning and win a few games so you just settle down a bit. And I think that last game was huge for him just to get on the board and not get 2 breaks down. And once you kind of settle down, everything kind of, you know, starts to flow better.
Well, again, congratulations on yesterday and bad luck today in the women's doubles final.
Thank you.
Back upstairs.
All right, Pam, thank you. A lot of people happy to see that. Lindsay Davenport winning her first Grand Slam championship.
She'll be able to live with that doubles loss a little bit easier.
Martina Hingis completing a doubles Grand Slam. She didn't play the Australian Open with Jana Novotná. She played with Mariana Lucic because Novotná doesn't play in Australia.
And credit to Hingis, because that's a great way to get over a tough loss. Go out there again and win the doubles. Well done. Apparently Mayor Dinkin's not in the stands today. Some airplanes nearby. Slowing the 2 players down. Rafter 3-1, 15 all.
30-15.
I think Lindsay was right. It certainly was big for Mark to get on the board, but he still does not look loose. Very tensed up still.
That's some pace coming back across the net at Rafter.
Absolutely overpowering backhand pass. Says I'm a little nervous. The best way for me to get over nerves is to swing my way through him. He certainly did there.
30 all. Long.
40-30.
That won't get it done. 4-1 first set. Walter Cronkite with his wife Betsy among those in attendance today at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Love 15.
Former mayor of New York. He is here, John.
That's the problem. The word you said, former.
I'm glad
No control anymore.
I'm glad he didn't succumb to Goofy Hat Day.
Philippoussis serving, love 15. 1-4. Philippoussis credits Pat Cash for his improved attitude. Pat Cash, but also Patrick Rafter. He said that Rafter has had a lot of success because he's worked so hard. He said the guy gives a lot of hours on the court, and that really opened my eyes.
What helped Rafter initially, we've talked about this before, all the attention was on Philippoussis. He's going to be the next #1. Rafter snuck his way to the top of the game, in a manner of speaking. Now Philippoussis has actually benefited from Rafter coming on so strong. So finally, after 3-4 years of expectations, he has finally gotten to a Grand Slam final. John Newcomb said it'd be another year and a half before he thought Rafter would be at his peak. Philippoussis, you know, at 21 is still improving. So things looking pretty good for Australian tennis at the moment.
40-15.
(40-15).
In game, Philippoussis.
Finally, an easy service game for Mark Philippoussis. 4-2.
Rafter leads 4-2.
And this fall, it's a different kind of medicine as 4 young doctors risk it all to start their own practice. LA Doctors premieres Monday, September 21st on CBS. So now Patrick Rafter serves for a 5-2 lead here in the first set.
Well, he doesn't hit a ton of aces. It was his first of the match. You can see his percentage remains incredibly high.
That dips in.
He obviously watched Sampras last year at Wimbledon. He served about 68 to 70% for the tournament, and that's what Rafter's been doing here at this event.
He had 48 aces coming into this final. It's not nearly the power merchant that Philippoussis is. But he's not looking for an ace. He's looking for the volley. He wants the serve to get him into the net.
He's bored with aces. It's a show it's all court game.
And out quickly, 40 love.
That was a low percentage play from Philippoussis. He really tried to hit a heavily topspin lob that really had no chance from the beginning. Spot on that court area. Just missed the volley. Yeah, it certainly was. A little fortunate nothing serious happened.
Like how Rafter cleans up his own mess there. You don't see that in the NBA.
You sure don't. Family of 9. What does he have, 9 brothers and sisters?
And our coverage of the U.S. Open will continue after this word for your local station.
Rafter leads 5-2.
CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open, a USTA event, is sponsored by Charles Schwab. Claritin, Mobile Corporation, and by Fujifilm.
And we welcome you back to the USTA National Tennis Center, Arthur Ashe Stadium, the men's final.
Second set.
Championship Sunday here on CBS. In the near court, Patrick Rafter, the defending champion. The far court, Mark Philippoussis. Philippoussis serving to stay in this first set at 2-5.
Rafter again challenging Philippoussis with these short returns, forcing Philippoussis to volley up.
And we want to apologize for our audio difficulties. Hopefully those have been corrected. It's good to have you with us. Bill McAtee, Eric Carrillo, John McEnroe, fourth ace.
Philippoussis is not nearly the volleyer, as John was saying, as Rafter. And that's why it's such a good idea for Rafter to make him hit tough volleys. You know, stuff he's just not used to doing point after point. It's only in the last couple of months that Philippoussis has really tried to use his net game more, not just rely on this big serve. Stuck that one beautifully.
40 love.
It's perfect technique. Certainly no doubt he can volley and has improved it recently. Once again, Pat Cash, quite helpful in that regard. One of the best volleyers in the world when he was playing top of the game. He was the Patrick Rafter of the 80s. That's the volley of the 90s, the swinging forehand volley.
Rafter leads 5-3.
Rafter could not have hit a better return right at Philippoussis' feet, but he just takes a swing at it and goes for broke. Pays off.
So now Rafter will serve for the first set.
He must have been fooled on that serve because he didn't move his feet a bit.
15 love.
Certainly way too late, and Rafter had an easy time there.
Two quick points for 30 love.
And again, Bill, that's the thing. Rafter would have gotten that serve back. I mean, that's what he's been able to do that Philippoussis has not been able to do. At least get the ball back in play. Force Rafter to make a ball.
And the other thing is he's not as quick as Patrick Rafter. Good evidence there. He had break point the first game of the match. Things could be totally different if he had converted there. But it's tough for a big guy, 6'4", to stop, just go back the other way and do something with it. He couldn't even get his racket on it.
Triple set point.
Game.
There's the ace. Takes it at love. Second ace.
6-3.
Just over 30 minutes. Patrick Rafter, 6-3 in that first set. So Philippoussis will serve to start the second.
Philippoussis didn't play a terrible first set, but unfortunately for him, he got himself broken. Look at this. Only 2 mistakes from Rafter against 15 winners. And 82% serves. I mean, those numbers are what wins you a major title.
Those titles, Mary, win you a Grand Slam. You just play like that. 82% in the finals of the U.S. Open is incredible. Philippoussis, I don't know what he was attempting there, but never had any chance of success. Rafter full of life, taking advantage of any mental or physical error that Philippoussis makes, and he just jumps on that volley. No problem there. Philippoussis is so nervous and uptight, just doesn't appear that he's thinking it all out there. It's gone back to the way he was.
30 all.
The last thing he wants is the dump serve here in the first game of the second set. even that previous point. He let that volley drop too low, and Rafter had a shot at that pass. Now with the second serve, 30 all.
Well, 1 point ago. There's another slick spot on the court. There you go.
He's a pretty clammy guy. Let's face it. he's working hard out there.
40-30.
Leaving parts of himself on the court, which is what he's known for.
That's a nice serve. 5th ace.
Hey, honey, he's walking. Get the camera.
Fujifilm presents the smallest one-time use camera. Smaller than a key case. Pack of tissues.
Stay with Daddy. Stay. Oh, buddy.
A wallet.
Come on, where is it?
The 24mm advanced photo system Quick Snap takes great big pictures. And it's so small you'll always have a camera handy. Just try to remember where.
Woo! I actually got in.
You broke into personnel.
Yeah, these are salaries of every person in the company.
Look, this senior VP makes about half as much as this senior VP. I bet he doesn't know that.
Sure he does. I just emailed everybody in the company.
You sign a lot of autographs?
Oh, yeah, you?
They asked me to bend stuff a lot.
I can see that. What?
It's Lois. She's in trouble.
Did you look through that building?
Well, kind of. It's glass. Lois!
Superman, I've forgotten my wallet.
I can't carry money in this. I'm powerless.
I'm not.
My hero.
You can do more with the American Express card. Could you? It's for my kid.
Patrick Rafter has never lost at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Trying to win his 14th consecutive match here at the Open. 15 love.
Got to get those big feet moving. Just looks a little flat out there. No question the nerves are playing a big factor. His 2 toughest matches the last 2 rounds. It was the disguise of that volley that was so well done. It looked like he was going to knife it deep. The same stroke exactly at the last split second. He opens the face of the racket and totally surprises Philippoussis.
Game, right?
3rd ace from Rafter. 1-all. Here's a look at where both players are from. Mark Philippoussis from Melbourne. And in Queensland, Mary Patrick Rafter. A little over 1,000 miles apart.
And that's about how far apart they are in this match so far.
Philippoussis have to do to get closer?
15.
Get closer to the net. Uh-oh, Sammy's at it again. Number 61 now. And in the midst of a wild card race is pretty impressive, put it mildly.
I think both those guys have been impressive.
That's an understatement.
There's a great Aussie expression. Sydney is also on the East Coast where Melbourne is. And the bush is all that territory, you know, over on the other side of the country. There's an expression called Sydney of the bush. That's how Philippoussis plays. He swings so big that it either lands where he wants or it's way out.
That's a country the size, virtually the size of the United States, with about 1/10 of the population, and less perhaps. Done pretty well in the sport of tennis.
They beat us on sheep, though.
New Zealand beats us on sheep.
40-15.
Now the fourth double fault. And that serve was only, John, 96 miles an hour.
Must be fatiguing. He just hasn't settled down. I'd like to see him mix things up on the second serve. He has not once stayed back on the second serve. Normally you don't hear that from a serve volley guy, but I think strategically it'd be better off for him to keep Rafter guessing a little bit so he doesn't just groove on that solid low return.
Philippoussis holds for 2-1. Patrick Rafter serving at 84%. Which, as John and Mary mentioned, is not bad.
Well, if you combine 84% first serve percentage with the best volleying in the game, that adds up to very few breaks. As Mary pointed out, he's only been 6 this entire tournament. It's Pete Sampras like at Wimbledon. Not surprisingly, he's won most of the points when he's gotten that first one in. Well, that's all the net points, so that's second serves. Philippoussis is going to have to win some breakers at this rate.
15-all.
At the net. That one plenty of pace right into the Rafter body, but so many times we've seen him make this. Didn't do enough there. That's what got him in trouble.
When you don't put away a ball you should, Mary, you sometimes lose focus for that split second and end up missing the next shot, which Rafter's done. Philippoussis should take advantage here. He's had Rafter miss 2 volleys and he's got a second serve. This is a great opportunity for him.
Oh, yeah. This is one of those Sydney or the Bush swings, and it's a beautiful connection there. Straight down the line for 2 break points.
And he loves the ball right there, so he should take a big swing at it.
Sorry, Mike.
Good to hear their mates again.
Sorry, mate.
Try to take too big a swing on that backhand return. You got to pick your spots. That ball was down near his hip, not up in the shoulder area where he likes it on the forehand. Serve into the body, never had a chance. They played quite a bit of doubles together for a year and a half. Did surprisingly poorly. Obviously focusing more on the singles. Called it a day, and when that Davis Cup debacle took place, that didn't bring him any closer, needless to say.
So Philippoussis with the break here in the second set for 3-1. And for a complete wrap-up of the U.S. Open with exclusive columns and audio interviews, video highlights, and more, go to keyword CBS Sports Line on America Online. So now Philippoussis serving for 4-1 in the second set. mentioned that animosity between Rafter and Philippoussis, but Patrick said that a few weeks ago at the ATP Championship in Cincinnati, he was surprised when Philippoussis came up to him just to talk. He took that as a sign that Mark was more comfortable with things, so Patrick said he felt more relaxed, and since then they've been talking more and more.
Rafter also said I think he might show his full potential here this week. He's getting older, he's maturing, and dealing with things a lot better.
Let's take a look at Mark's service direction, obviously going mainly to the Rafter backhand, which I think is surprising. Rafter is more consistent and solid off the backhand side. So does our buddy Pancho Segura, who we had a brief word with, said that he needs to serve slower. Philippoussis out wide to the forehand. Then that big bomb up the middle will see him 150 miles an hour.
Rafter certainly burned him on his chip backhand return often enough.
I thought Pete Sampras did the same thing, surprisingly, went a lot more to the Rafter backhand. Philippoussis with a burst of adrenaline and confidence right here and now, finally into this match at 3-1, 45 second set.
Philippoussis in the second set. Patrick Rafter suddenly in a position trying to stay close in the second set. That's wide. Rafter winning the first 6-3. Now serving at 1-4 here in set number 2.
That only represents one break, 1-4, but one break is all it took for Rafter to win the first set. I mean, let's face it, this kind of hardcore tennis, the sets are either going to be decided by breaks or in tie breaks.
Well, Rafter's continuing to hit high percentage of first serves, but you see Philippoussis taking advantage if he's forced to hit a second. Surprisingly tight and poor game to lose serve a couple games ago. Seemed to come out of nowhere. But it's almost impossible to play a full 3 out of 5 set match without having a couple of those. Rafter just needs to stay the course.
40 love.
He's been here before. Philippoussis hasn't. He's got to be a little bit more confident than Mark is. Mark is playing best tennis of his career as well.
Previously, his best result, Philippoussis, at a Grand Slam was at the All England Club Wimbledon quarterfinals.
Game.
This year, lost to Pete Sampras. Rafter holds in love. Philippoussis will serve at 4-2.
Philippoussis has been as high as 13 in the world. He came into the tournament at 22. Good thing that he got to the finals here. Doesn't want to take a step back this year in his career. This is obviously a huge step forward. Missed a pretty easy backhand volley there. He's had a slow but steady progression up the rankings the past 3-4 years. This is his chance to finally break into the elite. You said, Bill, what? He'd be 11 in the world if he won this thing?
Oh boy, and here's a chance for the break right back. Love 30. Philippoussis is looking really scared on that first volley. First of all, he struck it from too far back. Bent in a 92-mile-an-hour serve. He should have been tighter to the net for this one, and he tried to guide it into the open water. Missed it big.
Also, Mary took a huge step. Our old buddy Vitas Gerulaitis with the bunny steps never would have let that happen. That ball clipped the line, skidded on Rafter. He couldn't handle the pass.
15-30.
That's where Mark has to force himself to take one extra step. Right there. You see it did skip on the line.
The AccuView Mac Cam.
It's changed names from the Johnny Mac Cam to the AccuView Mac Cam.
30 all. Philippoussis will move up to 11 if he wins, and 14 if he loses.
Just enough pace and spin on that serve to give Rafter some problems with the return. He didn't want that floater. Wanted to get it at his feet. Philippoussis has no problem with that volley. A point for 5-2 in the second.
So Philippoussis holds, and our coverage of the U.S. Open will continue after this word from your local station. Well, Patrick Rafter is serving to stay in the second set at 2-5. That's right on the line.
That's a perfect point by Philippoussis. A huge return and good quickness. Take that ball above the net, make it a whole lot easier to hit that winner.
Now that he's serving better, Philippoussis, his return game is loosened up, which is just what he hoped for. He's serving at 65% in his second set. He's moving it around the box better, serving more intelligently. So now he's pressuring the Rafter serve. He'll be able to swing away, take some real cuts at some of these serves. Look at that. Now all the pressure's on the Rafter serve. This is exactly the dynamic that Philippoussis hoped to create for himself going into this final.
Rafter hit a volley right in the middle of the court, and Philippoussis just smacked a passing shot right up the middle. Rafter's shocked.
It's a good try from Philippoussis, but he's not nearly as nimble a mover as Patrick Rafter. But again, there's that great wingspan of his that helped get him to the final.
That's what he doesn't want to do. Get started 100% going one way and be forced to stop and go back. No big guys want that.
30 all.
I don't know about that call.
Or lack thereof. No call. Maybe Philippoussis had blocked.
Well, no call in tennis means good. And Philippoussis blocked the baselinesman. We see it was just long, not long by much, but a half an inch probably.
Actually, his foot wasn't impeding the vision of the baseline.
Thank you for pointing out, Mary. It was another bum call. Instead of set point, Rafter with a point to force Philippoussis to serve this out, which he's going to have to do now.
Philippoussis leads 5 games to 3.
Instead of getting to serve out this, or serve first in the third, he's going to have to take care of business here first in the second. Philippoussis himself decides to go into the body with good effect there. 15 love. Excellent conditions, by the way, for the finals. Not too hot. The shade has come on the court. No wind, like there's been a lot of wind, although these two players are actually both excellent wind players growing up in Australia. Helped them get to the finals here, where they handled the awful conditions have been here at the Open most of the 2 weeks.
Fifth double fault.
Awful for tennis. It's been wonderful in the city. Autumn-like conditions, not a lot of humidity, but tough to keep control of the ball. Philippoussis throws in a double, 15 all.
Second double of this game.
It's now 6 double faults and 5 aces.
Now this is where, if he's showing some maturity, that he'll take a little something off the first serve and try to get this one in. He doesn't want to keep the pressure on himself. Choking to the first degree in this game. 3 straight double faults.
Gavin Hopper, Pat Cash.
Crowd wants to see a long match. Urge Philippoussis on to pull this game together. Trying to level this match at 1 set all. Please don't do this. I'll tell you, that ball was barely in.
30-40.
I've talked to Pat many times, and of course nerves play a big factor. You see that ball starting to drop on him. He's catching that ball a little bit late.
Still break point.
They're working on it. There was a big first serve when he desperately needed it.
When he's loose-limbed, it's a beautiful thing. It's a real rhythm serve. You get a little bit too tight, that racket speed falls down, your toss gets low. Bad things can happen. Let's see if he can bang his way out of trouble.
Left. First service.
It's hard to make use of all this 6'4" extension when you're a little tight.
Some more spin on it. You can swing just as hard, just put more spin. That way you're playing it a little safer, but you're swinging just as hard. That's exactly what he did there. And also went to the Rafter forehand. He's got a set point. Well, it appears in general that that ball is starting to come down when he hits it. It's a pretty high ball toss. I think you're going to see that change a whole lot in the future. Hour and 7 minutes into the match. Philippoussis looking to level at 1 set all. And he's done it.
The men's final at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Patrick Rafter, Mark Philippoussis level at a set apiece. And Rafter will serve the defending champion to start set number 3.
What a tremendous effort from Mark Philippoussis to work his way out of trouble and finish off that second set. Nick Philippoussis said after Mark came through in that tough 5-setter against Johansson that he had become a man with that match win. He must have loved seeing his kid come through in the clutch just a few minutes ago, overcoming 3 double faults in that last serving game to secure the second set.
Great touch from Rafter.
Well, it was his quickness that allowed him to even attempt that shot. He got up so close to the net that it actually became a good option for him. Just hit it perfectly.
fifth ace.
That's a hard thing to do.
That was pretty nifty.
And now Rafter's going to have to expect that he's going to be facing some big old returns from Philippoussis, who's got to be able to loosen up his shoulders a little bit after taking that second set.
Sorry, mate.
Rafter holds, 1-love.
First.
Well, quite a turnaround from 21-year-old Mark Philippoussis. His first service game now in the third set.
Love 15.
Still struggling with that serve, though.
Got to feel a little for Pat Rafter in that second set that he lost. He only lost 6 points on serve, but unfortunately for him, 4 of the 6 were in that game he got broken. One bad game and it's all even.
Please do not make a habit of that.
Rafter digs and Philippoussis dives.
Forrest Becker made this move famous, and John, you used to tumble around, and I just don't think he lands as well as you.
No, actually, I didn't. I didn't use. I wish I did. Actually, I'm glad I did. Now that I think it looks great, and I'm all for it as a fan, but
I just don't think he does it well. I think that's a dangerous thing for Philippoussis to do, and it didn't work.
It's even worse. He's down love 30 here, love 1. Looked like he was going to dive again. Both players scrambling here. Philippoussis almost fell over. Rafter clips the tape. That could have been a very tough one to deal with if it had gone over the net. On grass and even more on clay, certainly on grass, you could do that diving all day. On this surface, just ask the football players with pads on the AstroTurf. A whole lot tougher to get a hard hit there.
Trouble for Philippoussis early in the third.
He should have known better than be content with winning that second. You know, Rafter would pick it up. That's exactly what he's done early in the third with 2 break points.
Perfectly placed at 102 miles an hour.
30, 40.
What do you both think about the maturity level that Philippoussis has shown thus far?
He's shown a lot in the last 2 weeks. That's why he's here in the final. Overcoming match points against Johansson. Hanging tough despite the nerves at the end of the second set. And he still hasn't regained his service rhythm.
Hard to believe after he was blown out in Queens earlier in the year. He said he seriously considered not playing Wimbledon, even quitting the game.
Well, that's
the overhead.
It's one of those heat of the moment comments. I don't think it was a serious one, but
he said he hooked up with Pat Cash. He started training harder. Pat helped him get more positive, and he began to turn things around.
Nice smash here from Philippoussis. You know what Cash says about him? He said, I was happy to help this guy. He said, if you had a choice to pick one player in the world to coach apart from Sampras, he'd pick Philippoussis. What do you think of that? Surely there's plenty of room for improvement. I mean, incredible natural gifts Mark Philippoussis has, and he's still learning. He's learning as he goes.
Well, he wasn't knocking them dead in the hard court season. He's had a so-so year, in all honesty. The one good result was the quarters of Wimbledon. Personally, I'm happy to finally see him pull it together here and he reach his first slam final. It's been a long time coming. He's actually felt this more of a sense of relief than joy at this point. A lot of expectations he placed on himself. Plenty others as well, putting the pressure on. Good job to pull out that game.
And level the third set at 1. Well, she's smart, she's sexy, and she's funny. What else do you want? Faith Ford is Maggie Winters. Gets the series premiere Wednesday, September 30th on CBS. Now Patrick Rafter taking a couple of moments, towel off, wipe some of the sweat off. And now serving at 1-all. John Rafter, meanwhile, had a great summer. 3 hard court tournaments and won 16 of 17 matches coming into the Open.
He was a guy who was struggling at Wimbledon. I mean, he just started getting a little more confidence. First time either player has stayed back on a second serve in this match, and surprisingly, Patrick Rafter.
One title came in Memphis. Beat Michael Chang in the final after beating Marcelo Rios in the semifinals. Quarters we mentioned, lost to Sampras at Wimbledon.
Rafter won Cincinnati, Toronto, and Hamlet coming in because of his strong serve volley game. Philippoussis shows he's got the big ground strokes. Nice passing shot cross court.
Talking about Wimbledon, John Newcomb says of Pat Rafter, he still doesn't fully believe in his ability to play his best tennis on grass. This is by far his best surface.
And he admits that. He doesn't like the movement on grass. He says his body gets stiffer. He doesn't move as well.
I think he likes the traction of a hard court. Lord knows he needs it.
Well, his game is well suited to grass, so he should start believing in himself a little more. Yeah, he's got a good shot there, believe me. That's in. How did he miss that? Even the best players, Bill, take their eye off the ball. Rule number 1. Here's Rafter in all types of trouble. Philippoussis coming in, says, I got this point 1. Says, wait a minute. Why didn't I hit a backhand volley there? He just wanted to hit the big winner. Got carried away.
In game Rafter.
2-1.
Rafter leads 2 games to 1.
And now this tournament summary, sponsored by American Express.
And our tournament summary, Martina Hingis. Well, she's won the doubles Grand Slam. 3 of those with Yana Novotná. Lindsay Davenport won the girls and the women's U.S. Open title. And might be interesting to some of you. We'll be back. And that's the story. Men's championship at the U.S. Open. And we've just gotten word that Sammy Sosa now has number 62.
This is getting insane.
So that home run race, despite the record falling, not over yet.
15 left.
Both players, 62 homers. About 10, 12 more games to go. Looking to break 70 at this rate. See a player like Rafter hit that ball in the air. That was extremely high defensive lob. He just guided that overhead. Philippoussis couldn't handle the next one. 15 all. Once again hurting Philippoussis for that nice topspin forehand lob. He's had some good success with that shot today. He sees how close Mark gets to the net after that first volley. Figured correctly that Rafter would guess one way or the other. Just hit the forehand right up the middle. Late preparation caused that forehand volley error. That topspin lob again, just long. Rafter knew he had him beat. Just put a little bit more topspin on it next time.
He's going to that a lot. He knows that Philippoussis is a big guy who likes to close tight to the net, and he figures that that'll discourage him.
Game, Philippoussis.
Philippoussis holds. We're level at 2.
2 games on.
Next Sunday, NFL on CBS, regional doubleheader day, Pittsburgh, Miami, San Diego, Kansas City, Indianapolis and the Jets, Tennessee, New England. That'll be followed by Denver, Oakland, and the Ravens at the Jaguars. It all begins with the NFL today, Jim Nantz and company, at 12 o'clock Eastern Time.
Sorry, Mike.
Quickly, let's check in with Pam Shriver. Pam?
Thanks, Bill. I'm sitting behind the two men most responsible for Philippoussis' current form, Gavin Hopper and Pat Cash. Pat, you've played a final of a Grand Slam twice, and you play exactly like Pat Rafter does. What did you tell Mark coming into this final?
Well, I mean, if Mark can play his own game, then he's going to be fine. You know, Pat gets a lot of balls back, you know, and his service percentage is very, very high. We've got when he misses a first serve, Mark's got to take advantage of the second serve, which he has been doing. Now Pat's starting to stay back, but you know, we feel that Mark has got to make some more returns at this stage on Pat's first serve, because at the moment I don't know what his percentage is, 70%. So he's got to make those balls.
Did you tell Mark to come in behind all his second serves to serve volley on the second?
No, I'm quite happy with him doing whatever he wants to do. I don't think this is a particular game plan. He's volleying as well as he's ever volleyed in his life. And, you know, I think, you know, we think that Pat is probably better once he gets into the point and wants to get into the net. Not so great on the return.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right, Pam. 40 love.
Just reminding himself, don't try that again the rest of the match. Still up 40-15. If you're going to try a shot like that, a tough angled drop volley, tried at 40 love up. Point still for 3-2 in the third.
Do you agree with that assessment from Pat Cash?
Absolutely. Pat knows what he's talking about. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't mixed it up a little bit on his second serve. Other than that,
40-30.
Just long.
This is exactly what Pat wanted from the beginning. He likes it up here high in the shoulder area. He's a strong individual. Take a good swing at it like he did there. And he's also strong enough to hit the top spin return, get it down low, as opposed to Rafter just chipping it back.
Left. For serve.
You might notice there's no linesman at the net calling those lets. They're electronically called now. That's an electronic call. Cyclops. Pretty soon we won't even need players. Just have a series of
Come
beeps.
on, no. Let's get rid of the umpires first. Rafter not happy that he's blown a 40-love lead. Now back to deuce.
It was one bad game that cost Patrick Rafter the second set. And now he's being challenged again. This is what Philippoussis needed to do. Spit back returns and make this guy come up with some tough volleys. A little unusual for Rafter to so publicly display his emotions. Had it too. Had it, had time, lined it up. Saw the opening. Boy, that could be an expensive point for Philippoussis. Doing such a good job of challenging the Rafter serve here.
Rafter holds. 3-2. Level at a set apiece.
3 games to 2.
First point. 6th game of the 3rd set.
This is where Mark's got to really be careful. Rafter just got himself out of a little trouble. He's relaxed a little bit. Philippoussis got to watch out. Big passing shot from Patrick, that first point.
Second serve.
That's a serve Patrick Rafter loves to hurt his opponents with. Philippoussis returning the favor there.
Philippoussis also doing a better job of closing into the net, taking some off his first serve and allowing himself to make a more comfortable first volley, not having to swing so much. Another good one. And in spite of a good volley position, Rafter finds the opening.
15-30.
Well, he'd like to do a little bit more with this first volley. Hit it right back to Patrick. He just reacted and pulled it cross court for the winner. It's the same as a serve. I mean, you want to put yourself in position for the next volley as well, which he didn't do there. Rafter, was that right? 28 winners and 3 unforced errors?
Left. For serve.
Leo Levin, stats man extraordinaire, confirming that. You look at a statistic like that, it's surprising that we're on serve and even at a set apiece.
It really is. And now, after having a big chance the previous game, he's down 2 break points here. Struggled a little bit on serve this set. He's already saved a couple break points early in the set.
Saves the first.
lot of break points for Rafter, I'll tell you. Not much success. Philippoussis is
played under a lot of pressure.
And he's a better player than he was a week ago.
Saves the second for deuce.
A little belief in yourself. All of a sudden, things start clicking like they never have before. Two more break points saved. That's only 1 out of 13 for Rafter in this match. Sluggish moving out to that forehand volley, and that's what Rafter wants to keep making him work. Can't become totally comfortable overnight in net. It takes a little longer than that.
Break point number 3 in this game.
That's all Patrick could hope for, make him hit that extra stroke, and Philippoussis responds. This was not an easy overhead he just hit, and this is major right here. Set all, 2-3 in the third, deuce. Both players must be a little fatigued from this long couple weeks, and neither one's going to want to have to come back from 2 sets to 1 down. Point of the match there. You don't think this means something to these two guys? They're doing absolutely everything in their power to pull this U.S. Open out. Rafter hustling well behind the baseline. That's where Philippoussis was hurt and then got bad luck. That ball hitting the tape. Just couldn't handle it. Another break point, number 4 of this game. And a second serve.
Well, Patrick Rafter explained what he had to do to win this match. He said, I've got to make him play a lot of balls. It's as simple as that. I don't have a lot of control over the match. And that's exactly what he made him do.
And this is the other thing, Mary, that he wants to make him do, bend a lot. He's a big guy. He's got to be a little bit wearier from a couple tough matches. And he's got to keep the body weight moving forward there. He hesitated there, and that cost him the game. Rafter says, all right, I got things under control here in the third. Just hold serve twice, and I'm a set away.
He knew how big that was.
15 left.
Believe me, so did Philippoussis. Just couldn't do enough about it. A little bit weary. First signs of weariness, physical weariness from Mark. That's where Rafter may go away from the body serve just a little bit because he's still strong enough to muscle this up the line for a winner. Make him move more. That was a flat-footed winner from Philippoussis. Well, he's looking to hurt Rafter once again with that big-time power. If he gets a forehand in the middle of the court with no pace, just protect yourself.
15-30.
That was always his reputation, Mark Philippoussis. It was John Newcomb, in fact, who named him Scud. He was always a dangerous player, and I just don't mean to his opponents. He was dangerous to fans, photographers. He's really tried hard to control all that.
Well, he wants to be known as a great tennis player, not a big hitter. He's starting to get that respect. Perhaps Patrick Rafter feeling a little fatigue as well. He had a tough 5-setter yesterday.
Down under 60%. 40-30.
And it's Rafter, surprisingly, who's the only player today who stayed back on the second serve. Philippoussis saw that, but still dumped the return in the net.
And Rafter, a game away from 2-1. Back after this word from your local station. Beautiful vista from the Fujifilm blimp. And back across the East River from Manhattan, Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Love 15.
Patrick Rafter up 5-2. Mark Philippoussis serves, love 15.
Yeah, he's discouraged right now, but don't dump serve on account of it. You're going to lose this set, make Rafter serve it out. He's going to feel some pressure, and at least you get to serve first time in the 4th set. You notice the first 2 sets, only 1 break each. That's what appears to be happening now. Missed that by a mile. Now love 30, 2 points from a 2-1 deficit.
9th double fault. And compare that with only 5 aces.
Quite surprising. Rafter's seen Philippoussis plenty in the past. He's got a pretty good idea, as well as anyone else, of where he's going to serve.
Love 40.
And that fatigue may be mental as well now. He has played a very poor game here and opened the door for Rafter to take charge.
3 set points.
That looks awfully close to being out. Maybe caught the back of the line, and that was a second serve. 111 miles per hour. Still 2 set points for Rafter.
Third set to the defending champion, 6-2.
Rafter leads 2-1.
So a mountain to climb now for Mark Philippoussis.
3 reasonably quick sets. We're an hour and 44 minutes into this match. He's got to tell himself now, look, I've got 2 sets. Just give it 150% right here. Take a couple Advil or Tylenols if you need to. It's a...
Love 15.
He's not moving his feet now. He's really slowed down here. And Rafter, you know, is going to be jumping all over it. He looks surprisingly good right here early in this 4th set. You can smell a second U.S. Open title.
First service.
And Pat Rafter won $650,000 by winning the Open last year. He donated nearly a third of that to a children's hospital in Brisbane. He tried to do it anonymously, but it was found out, which disappointed him.
We're at the USTA National Tennis Center, the men's championship. The 1998 U.S. Open, Patrick Rafter and Mark Philippoussis. Rafter winning the first set 6-3. Philippoussis right back 6-3 in the second. Moments ago, Rafter 6-2 in the third. First game of the fourth set. Rafter holds.
First game.
CBS sports coverage of the U.S. Open, a USTA event, is sponsored by Mass Mutual, Heineken, Citizen, and by AccuView.
First point, second game of the fourth set. Another winner from Patrick Rafter. Colors of Australia in evidence. Just past 8 o'clock Monday morning in Australia.
Love 30.
You know, there are a lot of eyes watching this. 11th double fault.
And I'll tell you, these peers have hit a mental and physical wall here. He's going to have to figure some way to get the juices flowing here again, or this is going to be over in a hurry. And Rafter has sensed it without question, and now has 3 break points to get up an early break in this fourth set. Once again, that backhand, good low return. He keeps going, I think, too often to that backhand side.
Triple break point.
And that's just a hideous game from Philippoussis.
Breaking it love.
I just had a funny little thought, Fred, that with Rafter ahead 2-love in the fourth set and 2 sets to 1, our mate John McEnroe over on CBS, who said a few months ago that he thought
Ken
Rafter
Rosewell
was
on the right.
1 Grand Slam person.
Yeah, well, he's proving him a little bit different now. John will have to apologize.
I must say for the record that was not. No, I never said that. Okay, that was, believe it or not, it was the media made a mistake. Is that possible?
You are the media. Let's face it.
I'm a player.
Oh. John, that did become a famous thing, that 1 slam wonder that people accuse you of, but that's not how it shook out.
Right, it's not. It's simply not what I said.
He's gone a little bit flat. At the beginning of the third set, he looked completely in control of what he was doing.
Well, you should correct that, because I know that you and Pat Rafter, I know you corrected it with Rafter, and he understands.
I spoke to him as soon as I heard it had taken place at Wimbledon. I apologized for the fact that this had taken place. I would never belittle someone who had won 1 Grand Slam. I have a number of people. It's 99.9% of players never win a slam. And it sounds like a negative thing.
Exactly.
And that was not the case at all. And I think anyone that watches tennis on a regular basis realizes how tough it is to win one.
Wide.
Why, in the name of God, when you see a guy like Rafter coming into his prime, would you say after a couple hiccups at the Australian and French, he's never going to win a slam again? I mean, I think these media should pay a little more attention to what was said, what was not said. Rafter quickly to 40-love and a commanding lead in this match.
3-love in the fourth. All right, Jim, thank you very much. Mark Philippoussis, love 3 and 15 all.
He's lost the last 7 games.
(30-15). Philippoussis, only the 3rd player, unseeded player in the open era to make the final. Only one won it, Andre Agassi. Take a look at some numbers.
He's continued to have an impressive serving day, 70%, but this is insane.
4 unforced errors.
And that is unheard of. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
And 18 break chances.
And he knows if he gets a second break, this is his second U.S. Open title. He's going to hang tough even though he's down 45. Flicks the backhand cross-court winner.
Deuce.
Philippoussis' movement has really gone south on him. Legs just aren't working for him now. Love 3 deuce 4th set. His only play there, Bill, was to throw up a defensive lob. He's weary mentally as well. He just tried to hit a backhand winner cross court, which was very ill-advised, and this could finish things off. Break point for Rafter.
Break. And the ice beneath the feet of Mark Philippoussis starting to crack.
John, remember you were talking about if you've ever seen something like this before. The only thing that it reminds me of is when Mats Wielander won the French Open in '88 against Henri Leconte. He had 8 total unforced errors and 1 in the last 2 sets.
Yeah, and he missed 1 first serve the entire match.
That's exactly. That's the most amazing performance I've ever seen in a final.
15-9.
It's keeping it pretty clean, isn't it?
I mean, the way he played that break point, though, he didn't go for the big pass. He just kept at his feet. It was absolutely perfect.
He had 1 bad game, John. He had 1 bad game in the second set. He lost 6 points on serve in that second set.
These numbers aren't clean, they're sterile.
This is just a matter of a couple minutes at this point.
35 winners, 4 unforced errors.
Right. First serve.
Just about the first backcourt point they've had the entire match.
40-15.
After a wild looking backhand there, but still 2 points for 5-love in the 4th.
Magical. 5-love. CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open will continue after this word from your local station. Patrick Rafter is a game away from hoisting that over his head for a second time as the U.S. Open champion. Philippoussis serving at love 5 and 15 love.
30 love.
He doesn't want to be bageled in the 4th set. Let's get on the board and hope for a miracle.
30-15.
Well, Rafter's obviously picked up on the fact that Philippoussis is looking exhausted, and he just guided that return for a winner. He also knows now if all he has to do is hit a reasonably good passing shot. He's got plenty of time to run around the backhand, pick his spot. 40-30. Double fault number 12. Incredibly, only 5 aces for Philippoussis in this match.
This is a man who had 30 the other night against Johansson. 30 aces.
Advantage Philippoussis. Deuces. Left. For serve.
Lo and behold, Bill, 2 hours, 3 minutes. Patrick Rafter 1 point from defending his U.S. Open title.
Please.
Talk about a dominating last 2 sets.
In game, set, match. Rafter. 3 sets to 1. 6-3. 3-6. 6-2. 6 love.
The 6th player in the open era to successfully defend his U.S. Open title. He joins John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors, Ivan Lendl, Stefan Edberg, and Pete Sampras. 13 double faults. Part of the story today for Mark Philippoussis, and only 5 aces. So the trophy presentation when we return to the U.S. Open on CBS. Beautiful early evening here in New York. And let's send you now down to Tony Trabert on the court.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a wonderful round of applause for 2 great Aussies. It is now my pleasure to introduce the President of the United States Tennis Association and the Chairman of the U.S. Open, Dr. Harry Marmion. Harry?
Ladies and gentlemen, if an American couldn't win the championship, it's fair that it go to an Australian. It's a great tennis playing country. We have with us the president of Tennis Australia, Jeff Pollard. And now it's my pleasure to present to Steve Ulrich of Tampa, Florida, an award for being the chair umpire.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Tom Orby, Vice President and General Manager of Infinity Division, who has a check for the runner-up. Tom?
Thank you. What a privilege for Infinity to be associated with the greatest tennis event in the world, and also in the finest city in the world, with the greatest fans. Mark, on behalf of Infinity, for your athletic performance and your tremendous play, we would like to present to you a check in the amount of $400,000.
Mark, congratulations on a great tournament. Unseeded here, you've gotten through to your first Grand Slam singles final. You played great.
Yeah, I played great. You have to give all credit to Pat. Played some great tennis, and he's tough at the moment. You know, I'm not going to say I played some great tennis during the week, and just happy to be here.
You saved 3 match points in your quarterfinal match to get here. That was a pretty good effort, too.
Yeah, you know, I fought hard, and I just wanted to stay strong, and anything can happen.
All right, Pat, again, congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you here next year. Okay, now, Tom, we have a check for our winner.
Yes. Patrick, for your championship performance, Infinity is pleased to present to you a check in the amount of $700,000. Congratulations on a repeat. Thank you.
Patrick, congratulations. You defended well. You've got to be very fit. You've been through a tough tournament.
Yeah, it's been a very long summer for me, and also another great 2 weeks of tennis for me. And I'm going to take the microphone off you. Because I never got to thank all the people I wanted to thank last time. And that is my family, my girlfriend, and all the support in the box. Thank you very much for coming out. And last of all, well, I could go on, commiserations to Mark, but you fans, you make it a fantastic atmosphere for us to play in. Thank you very much, and we'll all be back next year.
Thank you, Patrick. Mr. President, you have a beautiful trophy here to present to our winner.
We would like to present this trophy to the 1998 champion of the U.S. Open, a young man from Australia named Rafter. Come on, Jeff.
Jeff Pollard with Harry Marmion to our 1998 U.S. Open men's singles champion, a repeat, Patrick Rafter.
Well, the U.S. Open just a part of a full day in sports. Quite a moment for Patrick Rafter. Andrea Joyce will be back with an update in a moment.